What's up, guys? Welcome to Box to Box Football, and today we're here finally. This has been like brooding for a long time, but it's finally out. Today we're going to look at our World Cup predictions. Now, not group stage. Before we did a group stage one, we're going to be looking at four today. Our biggest disappointment, our player of the tournament, our top goal scorer, and obviously the most important one, who we believe will win the tournament. We've done some cheeky ones where we've had obviously the group stage one, we've had the dark horses, but these are the main four that people might place a little bet on here.
Right.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk through it and pick who we believe
And
going
I
to
would
the
say,
final.
I will say the disappointment one's just kind of for fun as well.
Oh
It's always
yeah,
fun to just make fun of some people.
but
Here
there's
and
always,
there.
I realize, but there's always a big disappointment. And in every World Cup, you look at like 2010, you had Italy in England. 2014, you had Spain. 2018, you had Germany. There's always a team who let's underachieves, and so let's just get into it. Let's talk about who we believe is going to be the top goal scorer. Jack, let's start off with the top goal scorer. Now, who do you have being the top goal scorer for the World Cup, the 2020 World Cup, Winter
I'm,
World Cup?
I'm fully expecting maybe to be made fun of here. I don't know, but I have my reasons. And again, I don't think this is particularly special. I don't think it's performative and dramatic and fun or anything like that. I got Harry Kane. Harry Kane in his group has Iran, USA, Wales. He plays in a squad where there's not too much of a goal threat. He will take penalties. He might take the odd free kick. This is the kind of sole goal threat for this England squad in a group which they should, I have my reservations, but a group in which they should walk. This should be a 3-victory group for England. They should go through top, no questions asked, right? Especially against the likes of Iran, USA and Wales. Realistically, this is not the Wales from before, right? This is not Gareth Bale in his peak years kind of thing anymore. USA, a lot of the bigger names that we used to associate with the United States of America team, they're not there anymore as well. So again, I think the group stage gives Harry Kane a really, really good chance to exit the group stages with, James, maybe 4-5 goals, maybe in and around there. England should then get through to some knockout stages. Again, if they go through top of their group, maybe they get an easier go in the next one. Maybe he can score there. So I'm just looking at the reliance on the player, the ability of the player, and the ease in which his kind of matches are going up there. So for me, it's more of a statistical, more of a stats and a data way of looking at it, as opposed to, wow, this guy's so talented, I just expect him to score. Do you know what I mean? So
Jack,
I'm going with Harry Kane. It's a boring shout, but that's what I've got.
Jack, I totally agree with you here. When you look at the recent winners of the top goal scorer award in the World Cup, it's usually won in the group stages. You look at the group stage draw, you see what team that they have there, and usually that's how they come through. You look at Harry Kane.
Right.
He won the last one, and Jack, he won it with scoring 5 goals in the group stages.
Just super quickly as well. I've just Googled it. He's the odds-on favorite too. So it's not like I'm going way out there and picking some crazy name. He is the odds-on favorite for nearly all markets.
Now, it's not like the top goal scorer is going to be the guy scoring all the big goals in the knockout stages. They usually get their goals, in my opinion, in the group stage. You look at, for instance, Harry Kane before that. I remember Gonzalo Higuain scored 4 goals for Argentina. He finished runner-up to Thomas Muller, and he got all 4 goals in a group stage. So usually the group stage games are usually where the goals come from. Harry Kane was right up there for me. He was my number one till I had a little change, and I looked at it and I go, what player's gonna bang? What player has a group that I fancy a bit? And I'm gonna go for Romelu Lukaku. Me looking at that group F, Jack, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. Now,
okay,
look at the supply line. Lukaku has probably between Harry Kane and Lukaku has a 10 times better supply line. Lukaku in the last World Cup scored 4 goals, all of them, Jack, in the group stages against teams who, Belgium 9 times out of 10 dominate. If you look at the opposition, I can see them dominating. I can see him picking up 1, 2, maybe even a hat-trick there. So I'm going to go for Lukaku to be my top goal scorer.
Look, mate, I don't hate it. I mean, I hate how Belgium have performed in these major tournaments compared to how they should have done. That would scare me. I think that this generation of Belgian, this Belgian squad that we had that was so great at one point is slowly waning. Now you've still got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, etc., Eden Hazard and whatnot. I don't know really what he's up to be honest with you. But look, James, I don't hate it. Morocco, Croatia might be tricky, but Morocco and Canada, they can easily be got at. So I don't hate that at all, mate.
I was looking at Messi or looking at Messi at Argentina. I think he's more going to be a supplier coming
Yeah,
into
he's
this
going to
World
be a
Cup.
facilitator, isn't he?
I feel France's group is very dangerous to a
France,
certain point.
France and Brazil was tempting to pick a player from then, but James, the problem is there are so many players who can get you goals in both those squads. Like it's surely going to be spread out a little bit more, wouldn't you think?
And even like Portugal, I look at Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's not going into the greatest form going into, but it is Cristiano Ronaldo there. Maybe
Right.
if he's on it again, he'll do his thing. But let's move on, guys. Let's look at who we believe is going to be the biggest disappointment in this World Cup. Now, every single year, there's always a disappointment. As I mentioned, 2010 Italy and England. Last year Germany. So, Jack, who do you think is going to be the biggest disappointment in this World Cup?
I'm going to go with Portugal. Um, and I hope you don't have the same one, but by your face, I think maybe you do. But Portugal, Portugal's starting 11 is the best starting 11 I think going into the tournament. And
Wow.
that's a bold statement. I'm well aware of what the gravity of what I've just said there, trust me. Um, but I said that for the Euros. And we kind of saw how they performed. And I've just got a feeling that, James, what's the old cliche? The game's not played on paper, it's played on the pitch. And for whatever reason, whether they're, given a little too much attention and, bending a little too much over for Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't know. But I look at that squad and I look at the expectations, especially, Rafael Guerrero, Ruben Diaz, João Cancelo, right? Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, all these names that you can just, Ruben Neves, all these names that you can just kind of throw here and go, wow, man, look at the talent across the board here. I just have this feeling, based on the history of how we've seen this Portugal squad play, they never play up to kind of the heights of what they should do. And I feel like that might happen again. Just looking at their group here too, James, I think each of the the teams in their group could give them trouble. Uruguay could give them trouble. A Son fired up Korean Republic, right? South Korea, that can give you trouble. A Ghana team who are trying to, represent Africa, but also maybe try and, revitalize themselves a little bit too. I don't look at any of the Group H games and consider them easy games. So for me, Portugal, if they don't get out of the group, I'm not going to be blown away surprised, but I just don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for this Portugal team, and we may see an early exit.
My team, Jack, is going to be France.
Oh,
Now, you may think, James, France? They're the world champions. Look at their squad.
I think
But
I know where you're going to go, but the
there's
talent, the talent is
Jack,
wild.
the talent is wild. But there's so much uncertainty going into this World Cup, Jack. Their last 5 games, they managed to win one. And it's not like they've been going against the greatest team. Jack, they lost 2-0 to Denmark, who like they are scheduled to meet in this upcoming World Cup there. They got players out. They don't know what's going to go on with Paul Pogba. And obviously the situation happened with him and the witchcraft stuff. And Mbappe's issues at PSG, where is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Benzema, I'm not sure if he's fit. Like 1 week he's out, the next minute he's resting. There's just so many different things there. And the one team that knows how to upload, the one team that knows how to produce a bit of drama is the French team. We've seen it before. We've seen it in the last Euros. We've seen it in the 2010 World Cup. They love a bit of drama. And I feel something like this may happen again. And Jack, my biggest thing going into this World Cup is that you look at the history of the past few winners of the World Cup failing to make it out of the group stages. Germany failing, Italy failing in 2012, Spain failing in 2014. There is recent history to that. France even in 2002 failing to win a game. So we've seen many of these teams who've gone in as defending champions just have an absolute L throughout the whole tournament. So my team, I think, going to be the biggest disappointment is going to be France.
Mate, everything you said is spot on. You know, again, it goes against every rational thought. These big beasts going belly up, right, from winning the World Cup prior. But it's happened enough times for you to be like, man, something in it. And like you said, France, their tendency to implode, Pogba and the witchcraft stuff, man, that is some dark, twisted, geez. So look, again, the only thing that scares me is the talent. But you know what, James? It's a disappointment because your expectations are so high. It's the same with Portugal. Again, I don't expect them to, but for whatever reason, I just have a feeling that they will.
Going into the next one, guys, we're going to look at who is going to be the player of the tournament. Jack, who do you have being the player of the tournament for you?
Neymar. I think this is the Neymar redemption tour in Qatar. I just think, I don't know. I think Brazil are set to be fantastic. They scare me a little bit, Brazil, because I know that there can always be a little bit of the emotional side of the football. That brings them to the highest of highs, but it can also bring them to the lowest of lows and cause them to do things that are out of character for how good and talented they are. He's been a bit of an afterthought to a certain extent in the world football conversation, with Mbappe coming along, with Haaland coming along, right? Paris Saint-Germain not really doing it in Europe, and also not really doing it domestically as well to a certain extent as well, losing league titles, which again they should be winning all the time. I just think that this is set up beautifully. He's playing unbelievable football at the moment. He's going to be going into the World Cup. He has support around him. This is not like before where he was trying to carry the team on his back. He has attacking talent around him, midfield talent around him, defensive talent, goalkeeper, man, take your pick, flip a coin, all that kind of stuff. It's set up beautifully for him to have a starring role for this Brazil team to go very, very far, and for him to be the main, if not just one of the major contributors to this World Cup run for Brazil.
Jack, as you mentioned, my player, just like you, Jack, is Neymar. I was hoping you pick somebody else, and I was thinking maybe talking about this other guy, this other great South American player, but it's Neymar for me. Yeah. And as you mentioned, Jack, let's look at previously what happened. 2014 was meant to be not just his moment, but Brazil's moment. Take it back to the first ever World Cup, them losing to Uruguay, and they wanted that moment back. And Neymar was going to be the guy to bring it back for them. It wasn't the greatest Brazil squad, but the heart, the passion, they had it there. You see what happened with the injury, and you talk about a team uploading, obviously Thiago Silva not being there. It was shocking. Then take it back to the last World Cup where he comes in, wasn't fully fit, and obviously the whole diving around stuff. And it left a bitter taste in your mouth when it comes to Neymar, because Neymar isn't privileged enough to be in a country where like World Cups isn't it. For you to be an all-time great, especially for a team like Brazil, you must do it in a World Cup. Forget your we like the Champions Leagues and all that sort of stuff, but if you want to be compared to your Peles, your Ronaldos, your Ronaldinhos, your Romarios, a whoop is needed. And I think this is the time for him to finally deliver it with this incredible Brazilian team. And Jackie, there was shows little pictures of him as he's walking. His screensaver is the picture of a World Cup. He knows that this is a last almost opportunity to kind of savor it. And what a way to kind of, you mentioned disrespect. He's probably one of the most disrespected football players in the last 10 years. So the point of view, Jack, talent-wise, overall what he's done, I put him second to Messi. I put him third to Messi and Ronaldo. But people talk about comparing him to Mbappe and comparing him to the rest of these guys. He is on another level to the rest of these guys. And I feel like if he delivers the way he should deliver, we can finally cement this guy as one of the all-time greats, because he really and truly is. And then that Ronaldinho comparison, we can really sit down and talk about that, Jack.
Right. That's maybe a video for another day.
That's maybe for another day.
Yeah, listen, I'm always going to go back to, I hated him going to PSG. I still do. I hate it. I think he's wasted there, especially without European title success. But look, again, I'd agree with everything you've said there, James. It just feels like, even the Brazil, even the 2014 one, it feels like he needed that negative experience to have him ready and built and firing for this one that he's got in front of him here. And I'm just saying, any team that's coming against Neymar, you better be ready, because that is one fired up individual.
Listen, and supporting cast is amazing, but let's talk. And I'm going to mention another one right now for another player of the tournament, and I think it would be amazing to see this guy take it all the way. Is Messi? He's done it before and been named player of the tournament, but to see him doing it in his final World Cup, wow, that would be something. That would be almost. I would cry in emotion.
Oh, James,
that. You know,
you and me both.
Incredible.
What I'll say though, with Messi, I think even the most staunched, hardy Ronaldo defender of the GOAT title, right? I think even they, if Messi wins World Cup, I mean, man.
But Jack, another one that we can mention. Like I know you put them as a disappointment, but Cristiano Ronaldo winning,
look, and if he does
Portuguese team, Jack, it could be mad.
I'm just saying,
the world would be mad. Could you imagine?
Well, especially if it's Portugal, Argentina in the final. I'm just really thinking about it.
Dream.
I think it's possible, mate. As well, I think the way the group, it's possible. So. Look, that's what we all want. I literally can't even keep the smile off my face even talking about it. But yeah, look, I think even the biggest fan of the other guy, if the other one gets it done, I mean,
I don't think we would be ready for a final like that. But Jack, let's keep the crescendo for last. The main event. Who is going to take home the World Cup? Who is going to win the FIFA World Cup? Jack, who do you have?
I thought about a couple of teams. I always think that Germany have this thing about when people aren't really expecting them to come, that's when they come, right? So part of me, I look at how well and somebody like Antonio Rudiger's playing at the moment, and just across the team, I look at the talent. Kimmich is still there, and you just, man, there's still talent, but they're kind of unassuming, and I think that's what Germany like. That's what they want to be, So I thought about them. Argentina, Messi, they've been unbeaten in such a long time, internationally speaking as well. You just think, man, Messi, maybe this is his moment, right? This is the last one. Spain is another one as well, who I think are going a little under the radar. Spain are super, super talented and again, unassuming. And I think, man, underestimating Spain and Germany is a really dangerous thing to do. I'm taking the low-hanging fruit, though. I'm taking Brazil. Like I've mentioned with Neymar, when I was talking about Neymar as best player, it scares the life out of me. This is a very emotional nation. They have such a strong emotional attachment to sport. I'd love to say that the English, we're so proud of our football, go on, Premier League and all this stuff. It's kind of on a different level down there in Brazil. It's life down there. And, I don't want to disrespect any of my fellow countrymen here, but it's a different gravy down there. It really is. And my final thing, just to kind of back myself up here, guys, I'm just going to read some of the names in the squad list very, very quickly. Alisson Becker, Ederson, those are your two main goalkeepers, basically choices there. Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Danilo, Alex Telles, Alexandro, Eder Militao, Roger Ibanez, Roma, go on mate, Bruno Guimaraes, Casemiro, Lucas Paqueta, Fabinho, Fred, Everton Ribeiro, Neymar, Roberto Firmino, Vinicius Jr., Anthony, Richarlison, Rafinha, Rodrigo, Mateus Cunha, and young Pedro from Flamengo.
Jesus, don't forget
and
Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus will be in there as well. I just, how many starting 11s do you want to have in there that are capable of making a semis, a final, or winning the whole tournament? I mean, the talent is unbelievable across the board there. And what I like, James, and this has always been the problem with a lot of these South American teams, they're usually so top heavy that it becomes a real problem. Defensively, I'm looking at a stout team who can play on the ball if they want to. In midfield as well, I'm looking at the likes of a Casemiro, the likes of a Fabinho. There are players in there who know how to play that midfield role properly to allow the attacking players to flourish and do their thing. I see no weakness to the squad at all. I see depth. I see variance. Tite has been there since 2016. He's also a Brazilian. He gets it. He understands. And I can't see anything stopping them apart from the occasion getting to them too much and it being overwhelming. That's the only thing that scares me. But I've been a bit guilty of just taking the low hanging fruit. I know that I believe they're the favourites. Let me check the odds here. Yeah, they're the favourites, and you know what, James? In my book, quite rightly so. I'm going to take them to win the whole thing.
Jack, listen, we talked about Neymar. I'm just like you. I've said it for a long period of time right now. This Brazilian team is possibly the best since 2006. You talk about the names there, and it's not just the names. I look at the biggest thing for me, Jack, form.
Right.
Vinicius is playing out of his absolute skin right now. Jesus has been revised. Bruno Guimaraes has been phenomenal. Thiago Silva is still going strong.
Very strong.
Allison, I would say his form has dropped. I know Liverpool have been playing bad, but his form hasn't really dropped as much. Like Richarlison has looked good. You look at a bunch of teams, England for instance, not too many players going in with form. Brazil got so much form going into it. My only little concerns there is in the fullback area, maybe at times the defensive area from the point of view what happens with. I know Thiago Silva has been absolutely incredible, but at certain points will the age show? But again, he is a top level center back. But as you mentioned, if Brazil fail to win, this will equal their longest drought without a World Cup from I think it was 1997 to 2000. No, 1997 to 1994. That would equal their longest drought of 5 tournaments. So it's something where this is in their DNA. This is Brazil. There's a reason why they hold that 5. But as much as they've held that 5, they've always wanted that extra one there. And I remember I was watching this is 2010. I was watching this World Cup show with James Corden, and they had a Brazilian fan. This is taking it back, Jack.
Right.
And they had a Brazilian fan there, and he mentioned you guys had 5. No, they wanted surround. They want stars surrounding their whole of their the whole of their flag. But this team, this country is synonymous with this tournament. It's the World Cup is big because it's big, but Brazil has also made this tournament what it is too. And a team like this, where they are right now, it's almost, Jack, like it's a must. It's not a semi-final. It's not even a final. It's not a third place finish. They go in that World Cup and they must deliver. And this team has seen so many disappointments over the years. I like to think that all the shackles have been taken away. Strikers like Fred have been taken away. Like midfielders in some diabolical stuff we've seen from these Brazilian team over the last 10 years have been taken away. This is a squad ready not just to compete, but to take on the rest of the world and be the last team standing. And I'm going to go for my man Neymar to spearhead a team all the way to Brazil's 6th World Cup. So me and Jack are both gone for Brazil.
Look, and guys, anybody watching, I'm sorry we didn't have some 5th or 6th favorite who we want to just throw in there and be like, we think that they'll, we want to be right. Being right, trust me, is way more fun than risking being wrong on some lower level team. And like I said, for me, it's the depth. That's what blows my mind. The amount of starting 11s you can put here and just look at it and go, you know what, it's fun. And we already talked. I'm looking at Anthony here. New Manchester United signing Anthony. It's a goal a game in his first 3 games. You know what I mean? So it's just he's not going to start. I'll tell you that for free. That's a guy on the bench.
Jack, the qualities. You look up someone like Roberto Firmino. He might not even go to the World Cup, which is to me crazy. Fabinho, he might not even go because Bruno Guimaraes has been coming. Lucas Paqueta. So many amazing names that they have, but to me, I just find it hard to think that Brazil won't win. And plus, this is my biggest thing is that I want Neymar to have his moment in the sun.
Right.
Neymar deserves it. I want to see Brazil do it. I'm almost Brazilian at heart. I play like a Brazilian. I'm much I have a French shirt on. I'm only playing.
But James, I will say
Nigeria didn't qualify, so I got to go for some team. Jack,
got to pick some team. That's right. Yeah. I will say, James, they're in Group G with Serbia. Serbia may cause an upset. You never know.
We'll wait and see. But guys, me and Jack have sat here and given you our predictions of who's going to be the biggest disappointment, who's going to be the top scorer, the player of the tournament, and also the winner of the tournament. I want you to give us yours, guys. Please comment down below and let us know yours for all 4 categories. And also hit that like, share, and subscribe button because it's really important, especially that like button to get this algorithm stuff going. And me and Jack will see you guys in the next video and in the next World Cup as we're going to be there all the way. So stay tuned to Box to Box Football and watch. We're out, guys. See you.